All right, here we go. How's everybody doing? Good to see you. And let's start with the $150 meditation drum, like we normally do. And today is going to be slightly different with my message. Okay, so I have an assignment. And normally I come in here with a message that I'm about to give to you. And today my story is the message. So Marshall Gillen says, make your mess your message. And here we go. I have some tissue in case I get sick in my mouth. Which is so crazy. I come in here all the time, right? Okay, so I am Jenny McKinney. I'm the energy from the universe that shares loud sound waves. I came out with a bang, literally, and am fiercely loyal and live in integrity. I broke generational cycles and addiction. We were addicted to hard work and working for others. So we have addictive personality that runs in our family, and that looks like the way of being addicted to working and working really, really hard. So, yes. So I'm the daughter that shifted a family's mindset. I'm the mother and the wife of my soulmate. Yes. My body is a carrier for a disease called neurofibromatosis. And I've been through the battlefield, and we'll share some of those details in just a hot little second. So I'm here to fulfill a spiritual quest of joy. So everybody that sees me here always comes on, and I'm putting all my energy out there. And I just wanted to give you some examples because people think your life is amazing. Everything works out for you. And I want to show you some of the hurdles that I've had to overcome so that you know that we're all in this together. Yeah, so I want you to know a little bit more about Jenny McKinney, the comedian, the coach, the entrepreneur, the one who is out there just living her best life. So like I said, you see me on here each day, just sharing a positive, inspirational message, jokes, laughter, and I'm here to tell you I'm literally just like you. So let's get to that. I do have some tissue in case it gets a little serious. So you see here, yes, I told you I came out with a bang, and that is literal. I was born July 4th, 1976. So that makes me bicentennial. Yes. Okay. At a year and a half, I was actually kidnapped from the doctor's office that my mom took me to. My mom had me young. She was 19 when she had me, and we went to the doctor's office, and there was a lady sitting in there, and she actually snatched me from the doctor's office and ran out of the facility with me in her arms, and my mom chased and followed the lady. There was a security guard in there by some random chance. I mean, in the early 70s or late 70s, it was so weird that there was a security guard in there. So they stopped. My mom didn't press charges because she didn't know if she had been followed or what had been happening. So that was a traumatic event in my mom's life. Then slightly after this, I had actually fell against a bed frame while my parents were at the movie theater, and I have a split face from here to here. You'll see that I have a scar there. You'll see it. It puffs up like Harry Potter when when my blood pressure goes up or I get a sunburn, and it's all the way to my lip, so I split it from here to here. I think I had to have 150 stitches down my face where it split open because I fell in the bed frame. The police came and got my parents out of the movie theater, and that literally traumatized my mom for going to the movie theater ever again after that. We did get her there, but it was eventually. At 10 years old, I had a traumatic experience in gym class. So I was a chubby girl, and I mean, who didn't love Little Debbie's, right? And so I am in gym class. I had a yellow shirt on with pink sweatpants. Totally remember the event. And I don't know if you did this when you were in school, but when the bigger person would sit down on the swing, put the swing here and put their feet over here, then the smaller person or somebody else would sit on their feet and then go this way, and you would swing like this, right? We called it the banana split. Let me know if you're here, if you had to call that something else. We're doing the banana split. So the boys start twisting us on this swing, and my arm gets caught up in the chains. Now, I start laughing, right, because that's what Jenny does. I start laughing, and in the chain, my arm is literally going to snap. And so I think it's funny because now I'm laughing, and in there, I can hear bones crunching now in the chain. And so they're still pushing us, and my arm is going to break. So I laugh so hard, I wet my pants. So yes, I wet my pants and pee all over the swing. And now we are in gym class. So we're out on recess at gym class. Now let me pause there. Let me come back right here, because when I was about 4 or 5, I realized every single time I was outside that when I wasn't smiling, I didn't feel connected to the universe. And I felt like God or the universe didn't feel like I appreciated him, her, whoever. And so I literally started smiling all the time. So I felt like that the universe knew I was grateful for being alive. Like, I'm here and I'm part of the universe, and so I want you to know I'm excited to be here. So I would literally smile all the time. Okay. So now we're back in the event. I've peed on the swing, and then now the whistle, time to go back into gym class. Okay, great. Guess what? It's chin-up day. Oh, hell. Okay, so now the chin-up bar faces the back wall, right? I'm chubby. If my pants were on fire, I couldn't do a pull-up, so it's okay. So we all sit in our little half circle. Sucks for whoever is going to get called up there. I remember I'm smiling, right, because I'm connected to the universe. I'm smiling, and I literally said, oh, dear God, if you can just hear me one time, like, I don't talk to you a lot, like, I'm just out here being with you, and so, like, I don't put in a request. I'm not bossy, but do not let Mr. Hollins call on me. Okay, so I'm not making eye contact, looking away, and then Mr. Hollins is like, hey, Jenny, come on up. So I think God and I broke up just for about a hot second right then. So I go up to the chin-up bar, and I'm thinking, that's fine. It's fine. My shirt's too long. They can't see my pee pants. It's fine. Get up to the chin-up bar, facing the bar, and realize the minute I put my arms up that my shirt has come up, and now everybody can see that I've peed my pants. So I don't do well in emergency situations. I feel like my brain thinks this is fight or flight. And so I turn around and scream at all my classmates to shut up, my butt is sweaty. So that happened because I handled it properly. And so then, then I'm starting to get called pee pants and like, oh, Jenny wet your pants. It was just I laughed too hard. I drank too much at lunch and I laughed too hard. Pete, it happens. Okay, so fast forward, you're being harassed. The thing is, I didn't let it bother me because it really was, yeah, I did pee my pants, so you can call me what you want. I laughed too hard, it happened. Didn't bother me, not a problem. So then, around this time, there was, so at 14, when your hormones get all out of whack and things start getting crazy and you aren't sure what's happening in your life, I became suicidal at 14, and I haven't said that out loud in a really long time. So at 14, I became suicidal and felt like at some point I was going to short circuit. And so I went into the counselor's office, and I think because we had never met and because I was funny all the time, she didn't believe me. And so I actually had to come home and tell my mom that what I was thinking about doing. So that was super uncomfortable. I didn't do it. The conversation was terrible to even have. And then I realized I had shifted after that. So I realized things, just getting that out and saying that, because at that point you don't really want to, I guess I didn't want to end my life. I just didn't want to live anymore how I was living, which was like hormonal and all this other stuff. Yes. So, okay, so now I'm 15. I started working at 14, and then I would actually skip school and go to work because I was a workaholic, and that's how I got recognition from my family. So I would go out and I would skip school to go to work. Dumb. At 15, I became really, really good friends with my friend Sally at work. And Sally was a little bit older. She was probably 18 or, well, I think she might have been 19. She was married and just had a baby. And she asked me to come and babysit. So we had worked together for quite a few months. And she was one of those friends that where you meet and you like automatically just bond, right? Like you have some sort of connection. So I go to her house to babysit, and they're not leaving. They're like in the bedroom and they aren't leaving. So like you're in this weird position. And later, after, like, I'm not sure what to do. So I call my mom because my mom had dropped me off, and she's like, I'm not sure what to do. So I'm just staying with the baby. And then come to find out, he wasn't very nice to her. He had violated her, which made me feel terrible, like I didn't do something to stop it. And then 2 weeks later, or a few weeks later, we see on the news that she had actually been killed, where she ran to her parents' house to find safety, and she was leaving the house. And he shot her in the back. And she had to throw the baby because she was running out of the house with the baby. So I lost one of my really good friends at 15. And that same year, a few weeks later, my friend, who I'd been in school with for a really long time. So, you know, when you were in elementary school and you would sit down and you would be alphabetized by your last name. And so he was a Jones, I was a Jones, and he was a year older, and he had gotten his license earlier. So we had been in class every single year together, and we'd sat together for years and years. And he got his license early, and actually, after school one day was turning, he made a U-turn and didn't see a car, and the car had hit him and killed him instantly. And so there's just a lot of death as you're growing up, where then you almost become afraid of finding connections with people, because then you think, is there something wrong with me? Now I have survivor's guilt, right? Because now I have to go back to class, and I have to see where, you know, this kid was sitting every day that we've sat together, and then now he's not there anymore. And it ruined other people's lives in our school because they were in the car with them. And it just like literally sends waves through your entire life. So Sally's family had a hole in it because, you know, she had been killed. My work had a hole in it because she wasn't there anymore. And then I am just supposed to keep going, and, you know, it's not appropriate to make people laugh, but at the same time you want to take their pain away. Why am I still here? So you're going through all these like emotions, and you're still trying to grow, right? Like, I'm still a teenager. My brain isn't formed all the way, and I'm still trying to figure out like what is happening in my life, right? So then I date a guy who turns out to be a total psycho. And it's one of those, like, I don't even know how we met. I don't even know how we got hooked up together. And he turns into a total psycho where he tells me if I break up with him, he's going to kill me. Okay, well, that's just a little extreme. But he wasn't joking. And so then he started to stalk me, and then I had to have, you know, like the police had to wait outside where I worked. And then I had to have somebody help me get to my car. Then I'd make sure, you know, everywhere I went that he wasn't there. Well, come to find out, he had people following me. And then by some coincidence, I met another girl that had the same, she had a cousin that had the exact same name I did. Well, when one day I had 3 girls come to beat me up because they thought I was her, and then come to find out she had 3 people come to her house with guns that were actually looking for me. So it was just crazy, like mistaken identity. I could have been killed. I could have been beat up because they thought it was her. It was just a lot. And so in that, just trying to remain normal, go to school. I had 3 jobs at the time, and then just trying to keep living your best life, right? So I was alive. He found somebody else to, I don't know, get with or whatever. And then I am 17. Okay, I'm 17 and I decide I'm going to move out of my house because my sister has her own challenges. We share a room. She keeps stealing stuff from me and selling it for money. And so I thought, okay, well, she's just going to keep stealing my stuff. She's got her own issues and I'm just going to move out. So I move out with my manager, who was 45 at the time. And nothing was going on like that. We had a 2-room apartment. He was kind of creepy, but I just never let that I never even put that energy out there. And so I had a boyfriend at the time who, come to find out, was a drug dealer. I mean, you would think, like, me having this direct connection with the universe, right? Like, where are these turds coming from? Like, I just don't even know. Like, how am I getting involved with these turds? And so I find out I didn't know right away, but I found out he's a drug dealer. And so then I ended up I started college, and I'm going to go be a police officer, right? Because now I've had all these stints, and I want to try to save people, and I want to fix people's lives, and I want to be funny. And, Police Academy had been out, so everybody's like, oh, you're going to be like the one girl who's like, hey, freeze, stick a lip, which is fine because I sound like a little kid. I can't help that. I mean, there's been worse things I've been called. So at 17, 18, I graduate. I'm signed up for college, and I'm excited. And then my friend says, hey, why don't you go to this dance club with me? My friend's bringing his friend. Okay, it's not a big deal because I'm just there for her. And so, mind you, I still have a boyfriend, and then I go to meet this guy, not like that, just to be, make sure it's not I'm not going to be the 3rd wheel, 4th wheel, whatever. So, and I'm not talking like the minute we walked in. So they're in the dance club, and we were actually walking out because the club was going to close and they were late. And so we're walking out. It's literally about 1:52 in the morning. We're walking out because they didn't show up, and they walk in. And I'm talking the minute we were within each other's energy, it was literally, I knew he was my soulmate. And so I can't ever explain that to anybody other than knowing it's literally like 2 magnets coming together, and just, I didn't even talk to him. So we dance, and then we end up talking in the parking lot all night. Now I have to break up with my boyfriend, who is a drug dealer, and now we're soulmates. Okay, so we find each other. Great. Life is perfect after that for us, our relationship. So at 19, let me check my notes because I don't want to miss anything for being 18. Okay, so, yes. Okay, so then, when I'm 18, so 2 weeks after Josh and I meet, we had a massive family tragedy. My cousin was murdered, and he was only 14. And it rocked our whole world. And, I mean, we had family crisis before, but nothing like this. And so at 18, I've never been hateful or rageful I've been upset and irritated and, when you get mad. But when you have a rage in you that consumes your heart because somebody took your family's life, and we went to court to see these 2 kids. They were like 18 and 19. They had murdered my cousin, and they were laughing. And I remember them laughing in the court, and I remember thinking, if I could jump this counter and hurt you, I would. I would risk my life to get over the counter to take your life because of what you did. And it was so terrible. And so I was traumatized, and there were a lot of things that came out in the report, in the knowing of what happened. And not only that, it's like personal, because now it's my cousin. And I couldn't go back to school. I couldn't go back to my police classes. I couldn't go to my criminal justice classes because now we're seeing pictures, now like forensic stuff. I couldn't see any of that because it was just like seeing it all over again. So I had to drop out of school. In the meantime, Josh and I are dating, and then we get engaged, which some people in our family decided to tell us that they didn't agree with that, which is okay. It's their perspective. That's fine. So they didn't agree with that. And then they were, rude and said nasty things, and that's all right. That's their belief. So 2 weeks before we get married, my husband, Josh's stepdad, passes away. And it rocked the whole family again. And so now we're trying to plan this wedding, and now people are missing from our lives, and it just is like trauma, feeling guilty. How are we supposed to be happy? Let's be happy. And it's just this big like teeter-totter of a struggle. Like, you're trying to be happy, now you're not. Like, things are going good, now they're not. And it's just so crazy, everything that was happening. So at 19, we get married, right? Find my soulmate, everything's great. 19, good to go. Yes. 20, I find out I'm pregnant. Okay? I love being pregnant. Pregnancy was amazing to me. And it was good up until the very end when I went to have her. And so it took me 4 days to have her. And I would go in, and they'd, give me a bunch of stuff to go into labor, and it wouldn't work, so they would send me home. So eventually, after 4 days, they shot me up with the epidural. It's go time. And when they shoot the epidural in, it hits something in my spine. It redirects it right into my thigh muscle. So I think my leg has exploded, and they're telling me, don't move. And I can't feel anything now. And it hurts. It literally felt like my muscle had literally exploded. Literally like blown up, and then just had it blown apart. I don't know. It's the weirdest thing I've ever felt. And so after that, I think, okay, do you remember, if you're on here and you're a kid of the like 80s, 90s, do you remember on Mad TV when there was a skit where Jim Carrey was like, he was Fire Marshal Bill, and he's in the labor room, and the lady like pushes twice, and then the baby just shoots out and hits the wall? Well, that's what I thought was going to be my labor experience. And that is not what happened with my labor experience. So, every time I pushed to have Madeline, it was killing her, literally. So the cord was around her neck and her ankles, and it was literally killing her. So, her heartbeat was going down. They rushed me into emergency C-section. It literally feels like they're pulling my esophagus from my whole person. Very traumatic, and then I think I'm going to die at any time. And so that was super traumatic. She made it. She was okay. And then after the surgery, or after the C-section, I go to 8 different doctors, because when they shot that up into my thigh muscle, what happened was it had hit a tumor and then redirected the epidural right into my thigh. So there was a tumor on my spine, and I find out I have neurofibromatosis, which is an actual tumor disease where it grows on my nerves, and then I don't know where they're at until they hurt. So I go into my first surgery, and before that, I had told the doctor that I'm going to take a chainsaw to my own leg if I don't have surgery. So I found a pediatric neurosurgeon. He did a surgery from the back. So he came in from the back of my spine, and then went around, shaved the tumor, and then it was super risky. So right before that, I thought, okay, I'm going to do my own comedy show because I had 3 people in one day tell me you should be doing stand-up comedy. So I thought, well, that's just the universe talking now, so I'm not a good listener, so I better get out there and do comedy. I don't know how to do comedy, so I just literally booked a bar. They said they would give us $5 pizza and beer night. Cool. And then I sold tickets at work. We raised $5,000 for Ronald McDonald House, donated all the money, and I did my very first comedy show for 60 minutes. Never done comedy in my life. So that was my first comedy experience, and I did it specifically the night before spinal surgery, so I didn't think about it. And then I go into surgery, so it's super scary, right? Because now there's persons in your spine. And I wake up, and everything went great. He says it might last, it might last forever. It might turn into cancer. It might not. It might grow back tomorrow. He didn't know. And so I didn't look anything up on neurofibromatosis. I didn't want to know about it because I didn't want to have any idea what that meant to me or for other people. Eventually, 10 years later, I did look it up, and there are a lot of people that die from that, from bleeding out in surgery. So I can feel there's like tingling in my leg that I can feel after the surgery about a year later that it has completely grown back. The tumor has grown back. So he tells me, okay, we're going to have to do a serious surgery. The second time, there's a 50% chance you paralyze. I'm going to paralyze you. I tell him there's 50% you won't. So let's go with that. Thank God he didn't sneeze when he was in there, right? I told him he couldn't get wasted. And so then he went in and basically did a C-section from the front. So he comes in from the front, moves all my organs out, and then scrapes my spine, gets the tumor out of there, and then good to go. So I recovered from that, and everything went great. And on that surgery, I had I had to roll over, right? Because now I call the nurse because now I'm going to go to the bathroom, and and so the nurse comes in, and I'm rolled over, and the guy can see my name on the sheet, and he's like, Jenny? And I was like, oh my God, I'm just trying to use the bedpan. I'm like, this is so terrible. So, yes, the tumor was gone. Everything was great. Come to find out, so I journal all the time, and come to find out, I actually had that situation because apparently it's genetic, and no one else in my family has it. And the surgeon that took on my case, he ended up doing a study on my case. He took my case to 1,500 other surgeons and showed him what he did for me on both of my surgeries. And so it was like a miracle case where it was super risky, and I turned out fine, and the results were amazing, and now that's why I get the high kick all over. My chiropractor doesn't approve, but that's okay. Okay, so yes, the tumor came back. Okay, so in this time, right, so now this is like we're about 23 now, and then in this time, when you just don't feel fulfilled, right? Like you're happy, but you're not sure, are you living your whole purpose? What should I be doing in life? What's going on? So then in this entire time, right, because I said I was a workaholic and addicted, right? That's my addiction. My addiction is to working all the time, working hard, and being a people pleaser. So I worked for a lot of narcissists or narcissistic tendency people. So because now I'm a people pleaser, I would always say yes to things I didn't want to do because now you'll be excited. And I was saying no to my family, which literally broke my heart. So I started working for crazy acting bosses, which means being a people pleaser, I was a rescuer, which means I need victims to rescue, right? God, it's just such a vicious cycle. It's so crazy to me. So people pleasing hurt a lot of people that I actually worked with. And what I mean by that is, like, I worked for one company, and, when I was going to change a job and people would come to me and say, hey, I need you to train somebody else on this, I felt, okay, I need to be the hero. So I don't want to show that person how to do something because now I'm the people pleaser, right? Like I want the manager to come to me and say, oh, well, Jenny's doing all this and Jenny's doing all that. Like it's so dumb now, but like back then I was like, I'm trying to be the hero. And if I hand my responsibilities off, I won't be the hero. And so it created a lot of animosity in some of the groups I worked in because I didn't know how to train those people. I literally like blocked it off. My unconscious mind wouldn't even let me figure out. And I'm super smart, right? Like I'm working on things that like on defibrillators and surgical generator paperwork, like super smart. Like I can get stuff done. I can continuously improve. I can fix this. But when it came to people pleasing, I shut it down. If it didn't let me look like a hero, I was shutting it down. So silly. So silly. So if you're on here and that did happen to you, I am publicly apologizing for acting that way because I didn't know. I'm in rescuer mode, working for crazy people, trying to be a hero. So it's just a recipe for not being nice in the sense of like, I can't support you in I need to train you, which wasn't fair to those people. So I'm sorry for that. Then, let's see, during this time too, so in here, I decided to go to cosmetology school. And because I'm trying to like, do it all. And I love hair color. Why wouldn't that make sense? So I get in there and I'm like 29. I sign up to go to school. And so for 2.5 years, it took me two nights a week. So Tuesday, Thursday, and every Saturday for 2.5 years, I was at school. Yes, that was a lot. And every single Saturday, which was a lot. Still friends with a bunch of my cosmetology people, which was super fun. That was such a great time. But again, time away from my family, right? Which was sad. Okay, so now so now, fast forward, everything's great. Our daughter graduates. She's amazing. She's going to go off to college. Who is Jenny McKinney without her daughter? I don't know. My life has been wrapped around this child for 18 years, and like now she's going to college. So now I'm left with all this time, all this effort of like, I don't know what to do with this. Like, yeah, Josh and I are still living a great life, and then what am I doing? Who am I without her? Right? Because I'm going to all these sporting events, and oh, that's Jenny's mom, or that's Madeline's mom. Oh, that's Madeline's mom. Oh, that was my identity. I was Madeline's mom. And so for 18 years, it was easy to meet people, right? I have friends and I meet people and we have a good time at work and do all this other stuff, school and whatever. But meeting the other moms at the schools was super fun. Okay, so now, fast forward, and now we moved to Tennessee. I'm not Madeline's mom anymore, so I don't know how to meet people. I can't just go to the park and be like, oh, hey, do you want to be friends? No, you look like a creeper. So I would, you can't just go and be on a walk and be like, hey, how's it going? You want to go get coffee? No, it's weird. No, that's just weird. Then, and I don't know where the weird spots are because like we live by a park and then come to find out people are parking at the park and getting busy and I don't, like what if I accidentally talk to one of those people? That wouldn't be good. So I decided to do comedy and I entered comedy competitions and trying to figure things out. And that's how I started meeting people, going to the coffee shops, going to different comedy venues. Now, because I had done comedy off and on in Michigan, and I played roller derby back there too, so think about that. But coming back, so doing comedy was like that's Jenny McKinney, right? Like that's at my core. That's my soul. That's like my little like when we make this one, like we're just gonna put all the funny dust right up in this one. people thought we were living our best life and like everything's going great. And it really is. Except people thought that we were having a great time here because they weren't part of our life anymore, which was not true. You know, we had a hole in our heart for the people we had to leave. But here, you know, in Tennessee, the sun's out more. You know, there's not as much snow. We're outside a lot more. We're doing things. You know, we're biking and hiking and doing all this fun stuff. And other people saw it as, oh, you're just having a great time without me. So it created some animosity with friends, family, and things like that, when that wasn't it at all. It's their perception, and I respect that. And that wasn't we weren't trying to project that out there. That's not what was happening. So we're just literally living our best life with how we know what to do. And what happened was we're in alignment with where we should be. And so in Michigan, where you feel, we just felt like it's time to go. It's really time to go. We wanted to move to Tennessee for a long time. And that was it. It was time to go. And so when we get into alignment, it's literally like if you just pop onto the river from Michigan, right? Which is all the way down 75, and just pop on the river, and then everything is like easy breezy, right? So since we've been here, I wanted to talk about a few accomplishments, because when you get into alignment with who you should be, where you should be in life, with the people you should be around energetically, that means we still talk to family, so we're still around them, and so we're still around the people that we need to be around, but we're just in alignment energetically with where we should physically be, which includes 12 comedy shows, right? So I've been in 12 comedy shows, some competitions. I left my full-time job working for other people where I was a workaholic. Now I'm working for myself. I've done all the healing. Well, I mean, there's still healing. Working on myself, working through, and then sharing my vulnerability with you each day. So I come out here and I am authentic so that you can be authentic. So I create that space for you to be your authentic self. Which is that's right at the core of my soul. Working and coaching cosmetologists, comedians, anyone that needs healing. So if any of this resonates with you, that's really what I have been working on. Just to say, hey, look, I've had a lot of death. I've had guilt. I've had shame, fear, trauma. I mean, a lot of that's going on. And so we've all been in it together, and it's just how do we get over it? Because that wasn't things that was things that happened to us. And then now, what can we do for us? What can we do for ourselves to move forward? I'm hosting classes, and I've created, I'm doing my own website. I have classes, courses, doing digital stuff I never even thought would be possible. Our podcast is super fun, so I do that with my brother. And then this is kind of crazy, like being an international bookseller, international author, international best-selling book author. Who even knew? I didn't even know I could write. I mean, like, I write jokes, especially when I'm about to sleep, but like to write a book, what? Look, it's a match. So yes, how do I get here? I got here by riding the magic carpet of intuition, right? And have that deep connection to knowing that I'm here for the greater good. So through perseverance, positive thinking, laughing, learning, just being open and aware, fighting the good fight to be me. And so there's a term in Tennessee called wide open. So if somebody's driving super fast, they call it wide open towards bliss. That's where I'm going. I am wide open right towards bliss. So the windows are down, money's flowing in with experiences and opportunities all at the rest stops over there. So if you'd like to share my enthusiasm for life and just share my journey, I'd love for you to continue to follow me here. I appreciate all your support and just the space that you let me have here to share information that I've never shared in this platform ever in my life. Oh, thank you. So, jokes and joy, really. Oh, and my Genergy, like, can of Genergy. That's where I'm at. So, I am Jenny McKinney. I show up authentically so others can see your vulnerabilities and grow from them too. So it's my job to help you become more confident, fulfilled, and develop a healthy passion for living your best life. So my connection to joy literally blazes that path for everyone to find it. So thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you, and I hope you have an awesome, awesome day. And I'll leave you with my $150 meditation drum. Okay, bye.